This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're going to again talk about goals, but especially how it relates to seed retention and also getting rid of distractions. Okay, let's look at it from a simple point of view. You want to get from A to B. B is your final goal. B is where you want to get to. B is basically joy and happiness all of the time, no fear, no worries, and being in the process of accomplishing worthwhile goals all the time, okay? This is the space you want to be in. And you want to be that right now, but you want that emotion, that feeling, that joy and happiness to exponentially grow. We've talked about this before. I'm repeating myself again and again and again, which is the beauty of this channel, because you're going to be daily reminded, or every other day, depending upon how many videos you check out. The point is, the goal for a massively awesome life and a quality of life that is just, it's so difficult for the majority of people to ever grasp or ever see. The way to get to that is masculinity. The more masculine you are, the more of a quality of life you're going to have. End of story, okay? Masculinity, with the definition that I put on it, which is emotional stability, okay? Being in control of your emotions, being in control of your thoughts, your thinking processes. This is masculinity. If you manage to do that, you basically have control over everything around you. And the things that you cannot control, you can control your reaction to it, which makes the thing that is happening that is beyond your control actually something positive, because you're reacting positively to it. No matter how negative, no matter how horrible, no matter what happens, you're fired up and excited all of the time, no matter what. And guess what? Those times when crazy, horrible things are happening, and you are actually finding solutions because your attitude is independent of circumstances, guess what happens? You're the only person that's positive and excited and fired up at the time the horrible events are happening, which means that people are like, oh, that guy, he's got the best attitude, let's follow him. Which makes you a leader, which makes you feel good about yourself, and good that you help and serve others, which makes you happy in a horrible circumstance. But the point is, masculinity. Because if you don't have masculinity, if you're feminine, your emotions are gonna be all over the place, and you're not gonna be able to control it because you're a girl. When you're a girl, unfortunately, you don't have control over your emotions because the emotions are too powerful for you to handle. You understand? You want to be able to get to the point where your masculinity makes it so that you have discipline enough, and you have focus enough, and you have the ability, the mental ability and willpower and all the tools necessary, mental tools necessary for you to overcome the emotional all over the place and be emotionally stable even though everyone else is not. Does that make sense? This is why masculinity is critical, because it solves all of your problems, everything. Do you understand? The more masculinity, the more fantastic your life is going to be. In order to achieve any goal, you've just got to know the rules and the principle that applies to that specific goal, and then you've got to show up consistently over a long period of time. I'll repeat it again. This is from the book Slide Ed, Jeff Olson. In order to achieve any goal, you've got to know the rules and the principles that applies to that goal, and then you've got to show up, meaning apply those principles, show up consistently for a long period of time. If I do this thing long enough, I will get the results I seek. That's the only thing that is needed for you to achieve any goal. Any goal. And if you don't know the answer, if you don't know the rule, the principle that applies to something specific, a goal that you want to achieve, then you're not looking hard enough, and or you don't have the right coach that helps you to get rid of all the other fluff and distractions that might be getting in your way. A lot of people very often say, well, how do I get more focused? How do I get more focused? How do I get more focused? In the book Slide Edge, I'm going to repeat tons of stuff from that book. If you haven't read it, get started on it. But what he says there is that a rocket ship on the way to the moon will be off track 98% of the time or more. I don't remember the percentage exactly, but the reason why is because it doesn't matter in what direction they shoot up the rocket. No matter where on the planet, no matter what time of day it is, as long as they shoot up the planet, it doesn't matter that it's off track because they've got a gyroscope, and this gyroscope helps the rocket ship to get on track. Oh no, off track. Okay, I'm going the other side. Oh, off track, and then I'm going on the other side. Off track, and then it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller until they hit the exact target on the moon that they want to get to. So understand that when you're off track, you're actually on track towards getting your goal. When you're off track, you're actually on track to getting your goal as long as you keep improving, keep becoming masculine, keep working towards it, and keep showing up. You just have to show up. This is just like talking to my clients right now in some ways, because I have to say, some of them don't show up. They simply don't reply to my messages. They simply don't take my courses. They simply don't listen to what I say. And if they don't do it, then guess what? They're not going to get the results. But everyone who listens to the principles that I share in every area that basically I'm an expert on when it comes to business and relationships, I'm not going to tell you how to do exercises or how to lose weight and all that stuff. That's for your personal trainer. But when it comes to business, and when it comes to relationships, man, you have not seen what I'm capable of doing, okay? If you guys are out there who knows my skills, then comment down below and tell the people what I can do for them. Because for me, like, I just basically am sharing what I know, and what I know is business and relationships. And I can help you on that track to achieve those goals in direction of joy and happiness, okay? Not financials and relationships just to get quick fixes, but long-term results that actually produce long-term joy and happiness. Anyway, the point of this video is seed retention. And the reason why seed retention is so critical is because in order to become focused, to become masculine, to be able to show up consistently for a long period of time, I would say seed retention is massively key. The reason why seed retention is so important is because of this sentence. Get rid of distractions. Get rid of distractions. The only reason why you're not able to be focused is because you have too many things to focus on. Stop it. It's not necessary. You don't need it. In fact, if you keep having too many things to focus on, you're not going to achieve any of them. And if you are, it's going to be a lucky shot. Okay, you want to be able to have so few things to think about, to focus on, that it's impossible for it to not be accomplished because it's so easy to show up consistently over a long period of time, applying the correct principles. And if you don't know the correct principles and rules, you can show up consistently over a long period of time, learning the rules and learning the principles, the correct principles. And if you don't know how to learn it, you can try and learn it and fail forward until you know the rules and principles. And then when you know them and you know this is correct, I know it's correct, now I'm just going to apply it. Once you apply them, immediately you're going to see results and you're going to be fired up outside your brain, because the moment you solve something, understand that you will never have problems with that thing ever again once you've solved it. Let me give you an example. There are so many motivational speakers, so many celebrities, so many people who are getting divorces. This is absolutely insane, ridiculous, because they've not understood the principles of relationship. And they keep sharing thoughts about relationships. That's silly. But once they figure it out, once they understand the woman, they know that they're never, ever going to have a divorce ever again. It's not possible. And like literally, okay? In the same way, with financials, if you figure out money, master the game, you will never again have financial problems. Ever. Because you've solved that problem. That's what's so cool about goal being goal-oriented and actually learning the principles and rules that applies to life, because once you learn them, you know them, and then you can teach them to others, and then you serve them and you're a leader to them, and they love you because you're sharing principles. And when you serve, it's not only about you anymore, which means that your purpose is beyond you and beyond selfishness, but still you're doing it for selfish purposes because you know that if you help other people, they're going to help you. And then this is how capitalism works. This is how everything works in life. And that's why I love this planet so much. Like, I hope you guys are as fired up about life as I am. Man, I've had a beautiful, fantastic day right here in Tbilisi, Georgia. Anyway, I was talking about seed retention, wasn't I? Getting rid of distractions. Why does seed retention help you to get rid of distractions? Because it is basically the main thing. Wasting one seed is the main thing that causes you to be distracted all of the time. The main thing that distracts men is women. Literally. The reason why is because our seed production in our bodies, it keeps working all the time, 24/7. And if you waste your seed, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a hyperdrive seed production. Hyperdrive. Do you understand what hyperdrive is? It's putting the gear in first gear and keeping it in first gear without going to second, third, fourth, and fifth. You're gonna basically it's like completely unnecessary, and this is how it is when you get really horny. It's not necessary. If you can instead learn how to keep your seed for 30 days, for 40 days, and then move on to 90 days, you will reboot your brain to such a magnificent standpoint where you no longer are needy towards women. At that moment in time, you can choose to focus on women when you choose to, not because you have to and get distracted by them, and it stops you from actually producing the quality of life and the happiness and joy that you were supposed to have. Some people believe that women will give them joy and happiness. Well, guess what? They do. But it's temporary if you don't know how to keep her. It's temporary if you don't know how to run a business. It's temporary if you don't know how to be socially savvy. Temporary. Oh, joy and happiness, joy and happiness, joy and happiness. She breaks up. Boom. Crash and burn. Now we've got to find another one. Oh, I found another one. Oh, it's so happy. It's so wonderful. We're in love. Boom. Crash and burn. She takes one of the kids. She takes half your money. And now you've got to find another one. Oh, and then you've got to keep the kids, and then you got to bring the kids over here, and then you got to take the kids back, and then, oh, and then there's this other girl, and they're fighting because they don't like that she's your ex and she's your current lover. And do you understand that you don't understand women? And the reason why you're so distracted was simply because you did not practice seed retention. That was it. If you practice seed retention, you wouldn't have these problems because you would choose whether to allow yourself to be distracted or not. Oh. It's so simple. How do you accomplish your goals? Masculinity and focus, showing up consistently for a long period of time. How do you focus? By getting rid of distractions. The biggest distraction in your life that causes you to have too many goals is the fact that you are not practicing seed retention. When are you going to make the decision to be a man and literally go for 90 days and complete the 90-day cycle? Remember, eggs are expensive and sperm is cheap. That's what they say, right? Eggs are expensive, seed is cheap. But here at the Men of High Value channel, what do we say? That depends whose seed it is and how often he wastes his seed. Women have a reproductive cycle, men have a reproductive cycle, and that is how often they waste their seed. Unnecessary, you don't have to do it. Get fired up just like me and everyone else on this Men of High Value channel, of those who are actually following the advice that's on here and doing my recommendations. Again, I don't force people to do this. I just enjoy my life. And I tell people, you know what? These are the principles. Apply them if you desire to. At the end of the 90-day cycle, you will be thanking me and saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't manage to do it until now. Because life is becoming absolutely amazing. And if your life is not amazing and you've completed the 90-day cycle, then it's time for you to get some coaching because you're not applying the energy that you have into the right activities, producing the correct life and correct quality of life and the correct mindsets that are necessary in order for you to succeed long term and become full of joy and happiness all of the time. Man, I love this country. I've been in Georgia now for 3 weeks. It's beautiful. We're gonna stay here long term. I'll share more about that if you guys want to know more about it. Comment down below. Make sure you like this video. I will see you in the next one.